in trances, going all to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances, empty-handed?
Early this morning, I said goodbye to the best mom in the world who would literally kill me if I pointed the camera at her at this hour. This trip wasn't for her. We all have to do what's right for us. I, on the other hand, love travel days. That wild idea you can wake up in one country and fall asleep in another. Don't get me wrong, I hate flying. But until someone finally invents teleportation, this is the fastest way to get anywhere. Today's journey starts, of course, with my favorite cardio routine, walking through the world's busiest airport. As a native Atlantan, I couldn't be more proud of her status on the global stage. Seriously, this place deserves its own zip code. I grabbed a chai latte at Starbucks for emotional support. So here's to long lines, recycled air, and my next adventure.
Justice that's about to let us know how to go. 두려워하는 나의 손을 잡아줄 거란 뜻을 알아. Baby, take my hand. You're my teddy bear, teddy bear. 내 낡은 사랑과 내게 줘도 좋아. You're my teddy bear, teddy bear.
El Salvador, the Savior, a name bestowed by Spanish conquistadors. But the story of this land stretches back far beyond their arrival. This is the home of the Inca, the Maya, and the people, civilizations that carved temples, tracked the stars, and shaped the destiny of Central America. It may be the smallest country in the region, about the size of New Jersey, but don't let that fool you. El Salvador is packed with personality. It's the only country in Central America without a Caribbean coast, but its Pacific shore is the stuff of legend. Black sand beaches, thunderous surf breaks, and sunsets so brilliant they seem to set the ocean aflame. With nearly 6.5 million people, El Salvador is also the most densely populated country in Central America, a fact that has shaped its struggles and its resilience. They call it the land of volcanoes, and with over 100 of them, I can see why. Some still breathe smoke into the sky, reminding everyone who's really in charge here. The 5 volcanoes on the national flag represent the 5 nations of the old Federal Republic of Central America, a symbol of both unity and rebellion. I love a hot cup of tea, even when it's 90 degrees outside. Nothing says self-care and class like taking a moment to sniff it first, to savor each note. That said, I'm aware this is also the coffee republic. Coffee built El Salvador, at one time making up 90% of its exports and shaping the nation's fortunes. Even now, coffee culture runs deep, from mountain plantations to the cafes of San Salvador, where locals linger over a perfect cup. And then there's the food. A far cry from this mysterious spinach ravioli dish afforded only to first-class passengers in the midst of rough air. I'm talking about pupusas, El Salvador's national dish. They are thick corn tortillas stuffed with whatever you crave, griddled until golden, and served hot with a tangy cabbage slaw. There's even a National Pupusa Day every November, a celebration of comfort food at its finest. They say if you eat one fresh off the pan, then you will know heaven. There are two kinds of people in this world, my friend. The kind that watch movies for entertainment on flights, and the ones who read instead. El Salvador is a country of fables intertwined in history, where legend and reality dance in the shadows. Saints and mythological creatures share street corners, and the veil between the seen and unseen is often paper thin. Some of these stories I've known since I was a child, and others I'm just discovering. But before anything else, El Salvador's story is one of survival and transformation. It was not long ago that tourists didn't come here. Even Salvadorans were afraid to leave their homes to go to work or school. In just one decade, El Salvador went from being labeled the murder capital of the world to becoming the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. So, welcome to San Salvador, the capital city of a country of contrasts. Ancient and modern, turbulent and triumphant, small in size but immense in spirit. The adventure begins the moment our wheels touch down.
This airport first opened in January of 1980 under the name Cuscatlan International Airport, honoring the ancient indigenous capital of the people. That's P-I-P-I-L.
But its inauguration came at a time of great turmoil. Just 1 year earlier, El Salvador had descended into civil war, sparked by a military coup that ushered in a familiar story across Central America. A right-wing government and its military apparatus, suppressing its own people, stripping away basic human rights, while leftist groups rose in resistance. The country was engulfed in protests, strikes, and uprisings.
Catholic leaders committed to justice condemned the atrocities committed by the state. Their voices of conscience were met with violence. The most powerful of them was Archbishop Oscar Romero, who spoke truth to power. But even he was silenced in March of 1980, gunned down while celebrating Mass. That was just 2 months after this airport opened.
Romero's martyrdom transformed him into a symbol of faith and defiance, not only for El Salvador, but for the world. Decades later, in 2018, Pope Francis canonized Romero as a saint. Today, this airport carries his name, a reminder that even in the darkest times, voices for peace and justice endure.
Unfortunately, Romero was only the beginning.
8 months after his murder, 4 female Catholic missionaries from the United States left this airport in a white van and were never seen alive again. It was a decade of terror, and no one was safe.
I wish I could say that the United States had nothing to do with the Salvadoran Civil War. I wish I had $1 for every time I wished the United States had nothing to do with something. To think that in the span of my lifetime, this country has gone from civil war to gang and murder capital of the world to a highly sought after tourist destination. That is one hell of a 180, and I could not be more excited to start this journey. My ride is here.
The St. Oscar Romero International Airport is incredibly easy to navigate. Plenty of signage, zero confusion, and all of my luggage arrived with me, which honestly feels like a small miracle. My tour guide is Jared, pronounced Herad, and he drives a 4x4 truck, which is absolutely necessary on many of El Salvador's roads. I use the word road lightly here. Some of them are paved purely in spirit. Jared himself is adorable and the perfect introduction to El Salvador. His English is exquisite. I'll put the link to his tour in the description. If you're just looking for someone to drive you straight to your hotel, then there are definitely cheaper options. But I wanted someone to introduce me to the country before dropping me off like a checked bag. There were several things I wanted to see, and his tour gave me the flexibility to do it all. Plus, He had a whole list of places he thought would be great for me. And he was right. Hiring him worked out perfectly because our personalities aligned like we'd rehearsed it. Also, keep in mind that the airport is about 25 miles southwest of the capital. It's closer to the beach than to San Salvador, so pack your patience along with your sunscreen. Our first few stops, those were all Jared's ideas. Buckle up. Jared somehow knew how much I was missing Lake Atitlan, as if the longing was radiating off my face. So he took me to Lake Ilopango. It's nowhere near as large as Atitlan, but they do share one important trait. Both lakes are volcanic craters, because apparently I enjoy vacationing on the Ring of Fire.
Never seen it like this, didn't think it existed, no truly. Don't get in her way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. But don't mistake this girl for being me, 'cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no. 'Cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no.
I didn't want to come to this restaurant, enjoy the beautiful view, and then be that person who orders nothing. So I did the responsible thing. I ordered a piña colada and yuca fries. You know, for supporting the local economy. Have you ever experienced that brief moment of panic when you enter a new country? Like, I need local money immediately, but I refuse to exchange at the airport because it's basically highway robbery with better lighting? Luckily, if you're coming from the United States, El Salvador has your back. They use the US dollar.
Never seen it like this, didn't think it existed, no truly. Don't get in her way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. But don't mistake this girl for being me, 'cause these are dream rules.
Next, Jared takes me to San Antonio Amatepec Hill, where coffee is grown, among other things. It costs $8 to get in, although I'm still not sure if that's $4 per person or $8 per vehicle. At this point, I just handed them the money and hoped for the best. The hill is actually more like a mountain in disguise. And suddenly, I'm extremely grateful that Jared drives a 4x4 because a sedan would have tapped out after the first incline.
Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors. Right.
Many roads, again, using that term generously, in El Salvador are so slender that when two vehicles meet going in opposite directions, one has to pull over and contemplate its life choices while the other squeezes by. On the way up, we pass a string of amate trees. The way they twist and curve makes some people believe they're portals to hell. Others say that at midnight, a beautiful flower blooms for a split second, and if you pick it, the Black Knight will appear. Be prepared to fight him. If you win, he must give you whatever you desire. If you lose, well, enjoy not having a soul anymore. If you're unfamiliar with the Black Knight, stay tuned. He's one of my absolute favorite characters from Salvadoran lore. The structures at the summit have a haunting, almost post-apocalyptic beauty. They were mid-construction when the last major earthquake struck in 2001. Much of the country was destroyed and eventually restored, but this project was left to slumber. Now, the unfinished walls and weathered concrete stand like silent sentinels over the city below, lending the mountain an uncanny, majestic quality I can't quite put into words. I have found the location of my future house. This view is absolutely spectacular. The road to get up here was a nightmare, but if you have a 4x4, it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. I'm gonna build my house here. Right? Yeah, this is where I live here now. They're never gonna get rid of me. Like, yeah. There's the lake's over there, the city's over here. It's nice and cool up here. Like the breeze is spectacular.
In the night, you can see the lights of the city.
Okay, yeah, I bet. Yeah, this is it. This is where I build my house. And everything's just so green and lush.
You don't know how good you have it. Like, I don't think you really appreciate it because you see it all the time. And everybody here's so happy. Look at this.
I'm a drop in the ocean, just a face in a crowd waiting to be seen. Big dreams set in motion. I wanna go where no one's ever been. I would climb the highest mountain. I would dive the deepest sea, just so I could make you feel what I feel. Aiming for the sky. Yeah, I really thought we'd make it. Got my head in the clouds, but I can see the world from up here, from up here, from up here. The world from up here, from up here, from up here. Can see the world from up here. Go ahead, call me crazy. I always see the good in everyone. Blue-eyed and naive, wow. Way up here, I can see the sun. I would climb the highest mountain. I would dive the deepest sea, just so I could make you feel what I feel. Aiming for the sky. Yeah, I really thought we'd make it. Got my head in the clouds, but I can see the world from up here. Yeah, I can see the world from up here. Yeah, I can see the world from up here, from up here, from up here. The world from up here, from up here, from up here. Can see the world from up here.
Coffee? Guava?
Nope.
What is it?
Avocado.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so tiny.
No, it's getting bigger.
I don't think I've ever actually seen an avocado tree.
It's going to grow like this. Now it's a baby avocado.
Wow.
My head above the water. Finally, I can breathe again. Lost in the waves, I wander. But in your eyes, I see no pain. You're a holiday, a break from the rain. Sipping your sunshine, come take me away. In the water, finally I can breathe again. You're a dream, 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 dream. Standing in your presence, carry me away, honey. A dream, 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 dream. Make me lose my senses, carry me away, away. A dream, dream, dream. steady on the ground. With you I found my reasons, yeah, to keep chasing what we found. You're a holiday, a break from the rain, sipping your sunshine, come take me away. No horizon, finally I can see again. You're a dream, 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 standing in your presence, carry me away, honey. A dream, 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 make me lose my senses, carry me away, away. Dream, 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 come take me away. You're a dream, 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 standing in your presence, carry me away, honey. A dream, 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 make me lose my senses, carry me away, away. A dream, 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 come take me away. My head above the water, finally I can breathe again.
Night has fallen. We quickly descend the mountain called a hill. Rocky roads have become highways. Farmland has given way to skyrises. Fresh air morphed into exhaust fumes and bumper-to-bumper traffic. Fortunately, Jared seems to know some shortcuts. For better or for worse, it looks like we finally made it to civilization. San Salvador, the capital of El Salvador, takes its name from the Savior, a reference to Jesus Christ. Its full historic title, the very noble and loyal city of San Salvador, is a designation that speaks to its deep-rooted spiritual and colonial heritage. Founded in 1525 by Spanish conquistadors, the city quickly became a vital administrative center during the colonial era, anchoring Spanish influence in Central America for centuries to come. San Salvador is not only the capital, it's the heartbeat of the nation. As the largest city in El Salvador, it serves as the political, cultural, financial, and educational center of the country. Over 2.5 million people spread across 6 districts live in the metropolitan area, making San Salvador a vibrant and dynamic place to begin any journey through Central America's smallest country.
7 days a week, you've been ill for too long. 7 days a week, 7 days a week, but now you moved on. And I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, feel it, I feel it, I feel it. This gon' be the ending of all that's bad. From now on, let's just leave it all in the past and look how good we are.
We've arrived at the first stop on my list, the statue of Atlacat, the fierce commander of the people resistance against the Spanish. It was here in Cuscatlan that his people made their final stand at Acajutla, a battlefield not far from here where I'll be traveling soon. The air still feels charged with the echoes of warriors. We're nearing my hotel now, nestled in Colonia Escalon in District 3, one of the city's most developed and distinguished neighborhoods. District 3 also encompasses Maquiliswat, San Benito, and the famed Zona Rosa. Together, they form the economic and cultural heartbeat of San Salvador, a place defined by affluence, modernity, and a sense of continual upward motion. We have arrived at my second stop. Anchoring the retail and leisure landscape of District 3 are several landmark destinations that blend history, elegance, and modern sophistication. At the heart of this transformation stands La Casona, a stately European-style mansion built in the 1950s as a private residence. In the 1960s and 70s, this architectural jewel became the headquarters of the Organization of Central American States, serving as the symbolic birthplace of efforts toward regional unity. It was within these very walls that Central American leaders gathered to shape a vision for integration. Though the organization eventually dissolved, La Casona remained an emblem of diplomatic legacy. By the early 1990s, the vision emerged to build a shopping center around this storied mansion, an ambitious idea that required architectural finesse. One of the greatest challenges was preserving the integrity of La Casona while weaving it into the fabric of a modern commercial complex. The result is Gallerias Mall, a 4-story shopping center completed in 1995 and continuously enhanced since. Here, heritage meets innovation, as the preserved mansion is harmoniously integrated into the mall's design, a rare and artful fusion that stands as a point of national pride.
I've been to nearly 30 countries in my life, and I've never seen a mansion inside of a mall before. This is more than a commercial hub. It is a cultural icon of Salvadoran identity. I don't normally do Starbucks when I'm abroad. I try to go to local places, but the Starbucks is in a mansion, and you can't beat that with a stick.
Might as well be on the move. Never really get used to the things that everybody else do. Might as well be on the move. Might as well be on the move. Feels like something's got a hold on me. Don't know why it won't let go of me. Always really getting so lonely. Feeling like this. Feels like something's got a hold on me. Don't know why I won't let go of me. Always getting so lonely. Feeling like this. Feels like something's got a hold on me. Don't know why I won't let go of me. Always getting so lonely. Feeling like this. Feels like something's got a hold on me. Don't know why it won't let go of me. Always really getting so lonely. Feeling like this.
My next stop is just a few blocks down Paseo Escalon, which shares its name with this part of the city. In the heart of District 3 rises one of San Salvador's most beloved symbols, the monument to the divine savior of the world. A path of fountains, water leaping in rhythmic sequence as colored lights ripple beneath, guides the eye toward the emblem at the center of Plaza El Salvador del Mundo. Erected in 1942, the monument features a statue of Jesus Christ ascending above a globe that rests on a tall, four-sided concrete pedestal. More than a landmark, it is a national icon, uniting Salvadorans across continents through a shared sense of faith, resilience, and cultural pride.
At nearly 60 feet tall, this monument is both enduring and commanding. It embodies the spiritual essence of San Salvador.
The next place I wanted to visit was closed. Not just closed at night, closed all day. So Jared immediately insisted on taking me somewhere else before dropping me at my hotel. I told him I'd come back to this spot on my own and spend plenty of time there. He paused and then asked, "At night?" He was absolutely right to question me. I don't go anywhere at night, not even by accident. Welcome to Plaza Morazan and the historic heart of San Salvador. This is the part of the city where visitors naturally gravitate. Yet, it remains very much alive with local life as well. Since the city's founding, this square has served as a communal crossroads, a place where people gather, linger, and weave their stories into the rhythm of the capital. I'm going to draw your attention to the men in the background wearing yellow shirts doing construction. Stick a pin in that. In Plaza Morazan, you'll find the National Theater, and just a short walk away lies Plaza Barrios, which includes a giant statue of General and President Barrios that is virtually impossible to see at night. This plaza is home to some of the country's most significant landmarks. The Metropolitan Cathedral, where Archbishop Romero once spoke. The National Palace exudes excellence, completed in 1911 during El Salvador's prosperous coffee era. And the brand new National Library, hailed as the largest and most modern in Central America. Open around the clock, every day of the year, it stands as one of 4 buildings donated to El Salvador by China. This entire area sparkles at night, and I'm so grateful I listened to Jared. Beside Plaza Barrios lies Plaza Libertad, home to the towering monument to the heroes, built to commemorate the first cry of independence in 1811, a defining step toward sovereignty. This square also hosts Iglesia El Rosario, often praised as the most beautiful church in the country for its rainbow-lit interior and its strikingly unconventional facade. Some visitors mention difficulty getting inside, so I'm keeping an eye on the hours, though I suspect much of the confusion comes from the fact that the entrance is at the front and the rear faces the plaza. Knowing my deep love for history, Jared insisted we couldn't leave without visiting Kilometer Zero, a powerful landmark signifying the exact point from which all distances in El Salvador are officially measured. And just like that, my time with Jared comes to an end as he takes me to my hotel. Yet, in the true spirit of Salvadoran generosity, he still offered his help beyond this tour, free of charge. He has been the best introduction I could ask for to El Salvador, embodying the warmth, kindness, and sincerity that define the people here. Ideally located in the World Trade Center complex in the exclusive Escalon neighborhood, the Hilton San Salvador is a 5-star hotel that absolutely knows it's a 5-star hotel. It sits about 5 miles from the historic center and 6 miles from the San Salvador volcano. It also boasts the city's largest hotel convention center with nearly 30 meeting rooms, 2 ballrooms, and full catering services, none of which I will ever personally need, but I'm proud of them anyway. There's an outdoor pool as well as a fitness center, and I will never use either. There's on-site dining, a lounge with live music at night, room service, and even a concierge service. With a little movie magic, here's what this restaurant looks like at breakfast. It's a full smorgasbord with something for everyone. There's a waffle station and an omelet station. Carnivores are spoiled, vegetarians won't go hungry, and vegans? Well, vegans will find excellent fruit and carbs. The refried beans are delicious if you can scrape the tiny portion not smothered in cheese from the edges of the pan. Outside, there's even a pupusa station. Yes, pupusas are breakfast food, and I will hear no arguments. Allow me to answer question number 1. Yes, it's breakfast with a volcano view. Allow me to answer question number 2. Yes, it's still active. We all knew what we signed up for when we booked the flight. There's also an executive lounge on the top floor, which I've only heard about in legends because I'm not remotely wealthy enough to enter. The Wi-Fi is fast, not the fastest, but it's free, so I shall not complain. Parking is also free, and I fully intend to take advantage of it once I rent a car and begin psychologically preparing to drive in this country. The hotel features open-air spaces with water and plants that give the illusion of a very polite, well-behaved jungle. A cat even hangs out in one of these courtyards, possibly the true owner of the property. There's a coffee shop on site too, which is less an amenity and more necessary for survival. And now it's time to head upstairs.
Is San Salvador a city that you would visit? Let me know in the comments.
Also, since you've made it this far in the video, please click the like button. It helps more than you know. This is a king room with an ensuite bathroom that has a walk-in shower with hot water. And let me tell you, hot water is a luxury in many parts of El Salvador, so I will be treasuring every steamy second like it's a spa day. There's a closet, there's a TV I absolutely will not watch, there's a little station to make coffee, gross, or tea, delightful. There's plenty of desk space with a proper chair so I can sit down and make movie magic, or at least pretend to. My view doesn't look like much at night, but during the day, you can see the courtyard leading to the parking garage and the big conference rooms. Otherwise, the room has a seating chair and a very comfortable king bed. All the necessities with a few appreciated amenities. Simple, practical, and just fancy enough to make me feel like I upgraded my life without actually doing so.
I learned so many incredible things today in San Salvador that didn't even get caught on camera. First off, if you are getting coconut water from a street vendor, that water is going to come to you in a plastic bag. To get to the water, you open the plastic bag with your teeth, spit the plastic out, and then drink the water by sucking it out of the bag. If you are driving and somebody honks at you 3 times, like beep, 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 then they just cursed you out with their horn. Stop signs are optional, like just completely optional. If you see a bunch of men wearing yellow shirts doing construction, just know they're going to be very friendly to you. Maybe don't chat them up because they are prisoners in a work release program where they learn a skill, and through whatever it is they're doing, each day they do it, they work a day off of their sentence. My first impressions of San Salvador are that San Salvador is truly a metropolis. Right now, this doesn't feel like the smallest country in Central America. So far, I feel safe, although I've only been here for a few hours. It feels like more than that right now because it's super late and I've been traveling all day, but it's only been a few hours. You'll have to check back for the season finale of that storyline. I spent the day with an excellent tour guide and driver. His name is Jared, which is a truly American pronunciation of his name. I think he said it's pronounced Herad. Either way, just incredible in all the necessary ways. Kind, patient, knowledgeable, all the important things. As far as being Black in El Salvador, get ready for some looks. Nobody's been rude by any means, but there just aren't a lot of Black people here. I've seen a few, and I can count them on one hand, and they've been in this hotel with me. So when no one else looks like you, people are going to stare. I had a woman in the historic center follow me around trying to take a picture with me without my knowing, without asking. I figured out what she was doing and I walked away from her. But had she just asked, I would have said yes. I also had somebody touch my hair. She did it in as polite a way as possible, but my hair was new to her, so she decided it was okay for her to touch it. I'm one of the few Black people who doesn't necessarily have a problem with that. I just don't really understand how you think it's okay to touch somebody you don't know. Yeah. As far as being a single woman, get prepared for more looks and some catcalls, and not just from the prisoners either. One of the best things about Guatemala is that the men there paid me very little attention. I can already tell that that's not going to be the case here. And add on to that I was walking around with a man and that mess still happened. So I'm anticipating that it's going to be that much worse when I'm walking around by myself. Before coming to El Salvador, I watched a lot of other YouTubers. Big shout out to JC Max and That Expat Mom for inspiring me to take the leap. That said, my journey is going to look a little bit different. I'm not here for a day, a weekend, or even a week. I slow travel, which means this is home for a while. I'm not going to tell you everything that I'm going to do in El Salvador because I honestly don't know yet, but I can tell you what I'm not going to do. Every single YouTuber who comes to this country seems to have gotten the same starter pack. They slide down a rainbow slide, climb Santa Ana volcano, and visit Maui Beach House. None of that is me. I want to get to know the people, dive headfirst into the history, and immerse myself in the incredible folklore here, all while eating an unreasonable amount of food. So if that sounds like fun to you and you want to explore El Salvador in a bit of a different way, then hit the subscribe button. Also, if you made it this far in the video, please click the like button. It helps out more than you know, and it's completely free of charge for you to do. Otherwise, stay curious, be inspired, find freedom, wander elsewhere, and I will see you in the next one.